Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down the well and drowned, and Jill ran home soon after. Jack's body started to rot after a couple of days went by, and contaminated the water, which caused everyone in town to die. Do you hear the whispermen? The whispermen are near. If you hear the whispermen, then turn away your ear. Do not hear the whisperman, whatever else you do, for once you've heard the whispermen, they'll stop and look at you. Have you ever stood up and felt a wave of dizziness? Has it ever been so strong that black edges appeared in your vision, as if you were going to pass out? This isn't out of the ordinary to most people, but in fact, it is not a good thing. This feeling occurs when a demon or demonic spirit is trying to possess you, and they almost succeeded. Next time, they might win. Are you prepared for it? Here are the monster's little toys. Once they were little girls and boys. What if the only reason we can't walk through mirrors is because our reflection blocks us? What if they're protecting us, though? What if they know that the other side is horrifying and painful, and they are trying to keep us from ever crossing over? I must be on the wrong side of the mirror, then. Maybe you're the reflection. Growing up with cats and dogs, I got used to the sound of scratching at my door while I slept. Now that I live alone, it is much more unsettling. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first I thought it was the window until I heard it come from the mirror again. I hate when the voices in my head go silent. I never know what those fuckers are planning. That creepy moment in the middle of the night, just after you hear an odd noise, your cat stares and traces something behind you. You're at work alone when you suddenly hear the copy machine start up. You walk out to take a look at what's going on and see several copies filling the tray. Picking up one of the pieces of paper, you discover that it is a copy of a picture depicting you sitting in your office chair dead, with your eyes torn out and your throat cut. The others are the same picture, but taken from increasingly bizarre angles. There is no original picture in the copy machine. In fact, the machine has been out of toner for a week. The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open. My daughter learned how to count. My daughter woke me around 11:50 last night. My wife and I had picked her up from her friend Sally's birthday party, brought her home and put her to bed. My wife went into the bedroom to read while I fell asleep watching the Braves game. "Daddy," she whispered, tugging my shirt sleeve, "guess how old I'm going to be next month?" "I don't know, Beauty," I said as I slipped on my glasses. "How old?" She smiled and held up 4 fingers. "It is 7:30 now. My wife and I have been up with her for almost 8 hours. She still refuses to tell us where she got them." The message. Don't dismiss this outright as the work of some raving lunatic. There's some sense to this story if you'll just hear me out. Look, we all wonder if time travel is possible, right? Well, let me tell you something. It is. I'm from the future, actually. I know you probably don't believe that, but seriously, I'm from the future. It's a really great thing, getting to see the past, watching events unfold, stuff like that. We know more now than we ever would. Behind all the fun, though, there's a more serious aspect. We aren't supposed to go in our own lifetime, and we are never allowed to contact our past selves. Let me tell you, I'm breaking that rule right now. Yes, kid, you're talking to yourself. Your future self. I'm going to be executed for this, but you know what? I accept that. I'm preventing something by talking to you that is worse than death. I can't tell you outright what to do, because the filters would catch it. This is the closest I can get, trust me. I can, however, send a little message. You should probably read the first word of every paragraph now. It has been reported that some victims of rape during the act would retreat into a world of fantasy from which they could not wake up. In this catatonic state, the victim lived in a world just like their normal one, except they weren't being raped. The mind of the victim would often try to wake up the victim by leaving hints around the victim's world to help them realize they were asleep. Sometimes, even after the victim knew what was going on, they would still refuse to please wake up. And all the time that I've lived alone in this house, I swear to God I've closed more doors than I've opened. One night I was babysitting my friend's children. The youngest, about 5 years old, drew a picture of a woman hanging from the ceiling. looked up at me and said, "She told me to draw this. She's coming for you. Hide."